manager of the company, and the title of the presentation is Revolutionizing the Market, Current Trends in Used Mobile Phones. Santiago, whenever you like, you can take center stage, and I yield the floor to you.
Thank you very much. And I grab the passer here. Well, it's been a nice thing to be here with you guys. As I was preparing the presentation for today, I was thinking that it's always important to give some context, especially when you're talking about something that has changed so much, like the used mobile phone industry. But has it really changed so much? For those of us that are in the industry, who may think that it may not change. And it happens the same thing with your kids. You know, you see them grow every day, but then really you don't realize how much they have grown until you see a picture that dates maybe 10 years ago or so. So I thought of bringing some pictures of the mobile phone industry back 14 years ago, in 2010. Why 2010? Because it was the year that IREPACK was founded. So these are some pictures that you may see some familiar. There we have the BlackBerry Messenger. Sending a message over BlackBerry back in 2010 to another country was awesome, was the coolest thing. Free for all, so it was something cool that you could have. The other thing that you see there is the Galaxy Samsung S5. And new models were launched every year. And then on top of that, every model was really a revolution. Had something that was really, really new. Like in this case, the S5 was the first phone that was waterproof. So it's really a radical change in that area. Then we had people lining up for the new iPhone. And it was not just a regular line, it was a massive line. And maybe not just the same day of the launch. It was maybe days before the launch that they would camp out there until they got it. And when they finally got it, they would get out of the store thinking that they had won a really big prize. We also had mobile operators that featured new phones, flagship phones, as if they were the main important part of the marketing campaign. Back in 2010, most likely, if you had an old phone, it would end up in a drawer. There was no really a place that you could go and send it or trade it in. And finally, in 2010, also, people still used phones mainly for talking, not for doing what other things we do today. So, where are we now? We see that, could we really live without WhatsApp? Everybody has WhatsApp, everybody's using it. Phones are new, yes, but how better are they than what they launched last year? Maybe a better camera, a higher processor, but no more than that. Now, the buying of used phones has become more regular. You see many stores that you can buy used phones, not only new. You also have a big step here that mobile network operators took the step to actually start selling refurbished phones or used phones. This is a huge change because 5 years from now, companies didn't want to damage their image selling a used phone. And then you also have trading programs that have become so publicly available that it's really, really easy to find one, not only in mobile network operators, but also in retails, even in small shops. And finally, the number you see there, 3.4%, is the number of units that decreased from last year in terms of shipments of new devices. So we're seeing that the new devices are declining in terms of shipments. So what is the current landscape of used mobile phones? Well, we're seeing that in 2024, there will be 350 million units sold. We're also seeing that this amounts to $65,000 million, and that gives us a regular price of a unit price, average price of $185. If you compare this to the new, it stands for 30% of the new phones and in 12% of the value of new phones. We're also seeing a steady trend in growth. It's been growing, I would say, 12%, 11% consistently for the past 5 years, and they predict that it will continue so between 8 and 12%. So by 2030, what was now 65 million will be 125,000 million dollars. And then we're also seeing something that changed. This is recent, but we're seeing manufacturers that have started to actually take an active role in the used mobile phone industry. For example, we're seeing Apple, we're seeing Samsung, and we're seeing Xiaomi doing some checking of their own devices and then are reselling. So these are big changes that are happening now, and with a trend that is really promising. All right, so the used mobile phone industry had one drawback, which is that every company has a different grading. And a grading has two parts. There's one that you check the functionality, and then there's one that is visual or aesthetic. The functionality part has already been resolved. There are many software programs that can do a diagnosis really easy, and that can tell you whether a phone works or not, or what component doesn't work. However, the part that is more visual, up to now, was very, very subjective. So it depended on the person that was doing the grading for that phone in that company. Well, now with AI, this could change. We're seeing some solutions that companies have trained their AI models to see different phones, what is a grade A, what is a grade B, what is a grade C. And that way, they can manage a steady and a standard way of grading that could really, really help the industry flourish even more. All right, and now I would like to share with you what we think that will happen in the next few years with the used phone industry. We've been in the market, as I told you, since 2010. We've seen many things, and we are seeing some trends that we thought it would be interesting to share here with you. So the first thing is that we continue seeing that this will continue growing, rates of 10% every year, and we don't see that stopping anytime soon. So that's one important component of our industry. The second one, since the margins are still very good, and the margins, on the other hand, on the new phones are decreasing, we are seeing that new players are coming in the market. So we're seeing many new players come in and start selling also used phones. The other thing that we see is a consolidation of the industry. So you have big players that are used to selling new phones that are seeing an opportunity in the used space, and they don't want to invest all the time that it takes in order to learn a new business like the used phone. It's very different from the new phones. So what they will do is they will start buying small companies, and we have seen many examples already here in Europe. The next thing, if you have more players, what happens with the margins? They will get shorter. So we're going to see shorter margins for the companies involved in the sector. Then, about the brands. The brands that are more consolidated, that are more aspirational, will have a better chance about succeeding in the used phone market. We're seeing many brands, and they are all getting into it, but Apple and Samsung are those brands that have a really, really strong personality. And finally, the one that you see in the middle, when you buy a car, one of the things that you see is the resale value. How much will I get for it in 4 or 5 years? Well, in the mobile phones, things will start to happen like this as well. People will start looking not only the phone that I get for me, but how much will I be able to sell it in, say, a year or in 2 years. So all these things happen. So with all this in mind, this is why we think that the used mobile phones will be a sustainable revolution. People not only are buying a used phone because it's cheaper, but also because it's good for the environment. We don't need to create or manufacture as many new phones. We already have a lot, and so we want to be continue being a leader in this industry that we know so well and that we enjoy so much working with. So with that, I really thank you for your attention, and I'll be happy to chat some more afterwards. Thank you.